Good morning, ma'am. Very good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Shall we wait for 2 minutes so that others can also join? Eighteen have joined. Shall we wait for 1 or 2 minutes or shall we proceed?
We can give one more minute, madam.
Fine. You give message to our group that today now we are having class, and anyone kindly give the meet ID also. Someone has given today, but again you post that class is going on. I'll take attendance also.
Sorry to interrupt now. I have recorded the previous classes recording, but I'm not able to upload it in the Google Classroom. It's telling me that I don't have permission to upload the document.
Generally, all scholars will upload. My prior batches and all scholars will upload. I don't think so. I didn't made any restrictions over that. You can
Okay,
upload.
ma'am.
Do it in mainstream.
Okay, ma'am. I'll try. If not, I'll send you the video link.
See, I will forget it. I'll have so I'm doing some other
I'll
work.
try, ma'am. If not, I'll call you, ma'am.
If some other student, please kindly do it.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I'll tell them. Thank you.
Someone asked for SPSS. I gave SPSS 25 to you. You can use the cracked version. Several times I told in the class. Again, I'm repeating. It is not condition. Are you getting my voice and video? Is there screen? It is whether screen is visible to you. Audio is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The thing is, you can use your SPSS 25, what I have given to you, which is a cracked version. Disclaimer is, it is up to you. It is to facilitate the scholar in order to support you, because here we don't have the original version. I'm just helping you to use in your system, install in your system. If it is okay to you, you can install. That is not a condition that you should use this. It is up to you. You can use this, or you can go to SPSS original version of trial one, where it is subjected to the condition. It may work with certain features, may not work with certain features. So you can download that and you can install. If your system antiviral software is not permitting you, you can use the trial version. If you are good enough to install, actually this 25, I am also using original say Microsoft version in my Lenovo. It is working very well. SPSS 25 only I install, because since package rate is very high for SPSS, I checked also, which is very high. It is not affordable for our level. So I just made this as cracked version. I installed in my system. So if it is okay to you, install. Otherwise, you try with your trial version. It is working properly. Follow the instruction properly. Last class, I told how to install also. Please go back to that video and see what I told. So kindly install. If you want, you install. Today also theory will be there, because basics to be covered. And then I have to go with the SPSS package. So this is type 1.
Ma'am, I couldn't hear you. Is it like for everyone or?
Yeah, I couldn't also hear, ma'am.
Yeah, even I'm unable to hear her.
Okay.
Same here.
Anyone from this class, please tell me what is population?
Ma'am, when you started type 1, it got struck, ma'am. After that, it was just
Okay.
fast.
Whenever you have a problem, please contact me through my phone or give some WhatsApp message. So please do it.
Sure, ma'am.
I don't find any difference in that. So I keep on asking about what is population and what is sample. We'll make it in 5 minutes and we'll continue with the current topic. What is population? What is sample?
Population means the whole set of people, whole set of thing which we want to study. Sample is we will take random sample or whatever the samples. So small amount of the total population is called sample. Can anyone confirm whether I am I audible to?
Yes, yeah, you are audible. Looks like we lost ma'am once again.
Yeah, yeah.
Every day, this is a problem here. For from last week, we are facing this as problem. Network issue in the department. So quickly tell me what is the difference, what is population and sample?
Population.
Madam,
Yes.
population is the parameter and the sample free, and sample is the statistics.
Okay. What is population? What is sample? Population is measured, and that technical term is called as parameter. Sample is the characteristic attribute of sample. What we are measuring is generally through statistics. So in such way we will explain. So what is population? Population is a macro set that covers entire universe, and sample is the representation over the population. When you measure this population, it is called as parameter. When you measure this sample, it is called as statistics. And I told last class, you can't measure your population in wholesome because we may leave something. Theoretically, it is possible, but operationally, it is impossible. So we are going for sample study. For measuring sample, we are using statistics. Are you clear now? Are
Yes,
you
madam.
clear? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then in case of that, what we told last class. So for measuring parameter and statistics, we use different notation for mean, median, standard deviation, and so forth. And we explained about types of data where we use numerical data and categorical data. We explained last class where numerical data is anything which is of numbers, which is called as numerical data, which is quantitative in nature. Generally, we will tell that as quantitative data. And when you speak something on characters, which is called as qualitative data, which is categorical. Madam, how come I can know my data is quantitative or qualitative when you ask this question? Simple is you see through your questions in your questionnaire. When your options in your questions are in numbers, then it is quantitative. When your options for each question or for a particular question is in words, which is called as qualitative, then you have to categorize when it is numerical, whether it is continuous or discrete. When it is qualitative or categorical, whether it is ordinal or nominal. So in case of numerical, when your options are in numbers, it is otherwise called as quantitative data. It is divided into continuous, discrete. Continuous are continuous in a number, actually ratio, height, weight, continuous age. When you tell all these things will be in interval, which is called as a continuous. When it is on number, when it is measured, when it is with numbers, which is called as discrete. And then we have qualitative data. When your data output, when your options are in qualitative or in words, generally called as categorical or qualitative, which is in order, which has linkage, which has where you can rank them, which is called as ordinal. When you can't do that, it is called as nominal. Are you clear with this?
Ma'am, one small doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can we write an article with a categorical testing? Okay, and without any quantitative application into it, because we are evolving a theory or a concept, and then we find out the variables and then submit the article.
When you go for theoretical, say, conceptual paper, why do you want to do analysis? Why do you want to do analysis?
To find the actually, like in case we are doing on a categorical basis, categorical variables, and we are trying to arrive at a conclusion that these populations can be predicted like this, and further analysis can be made with quantitative. Then we complete.
Actually, when you do any concept, as per your question, I'm answering. Conceptual paper does not require any analytical sense. No need to analyze whether it is qualitative or quantitative. So simply you will take metadata, review of literatures, collect different reviews, make it in order in chronological way. Recently arrived data, you have to take it, that is data in sense reviews I'm telling. Based on reviews, you have to come out with the theory. So many theories will be there for a particular concept. What you are going to apply in your paper, you have to explain. And if possible, you can derive model from that. Already, if it is there, you can mention that which is well suited for your topic. There is no purpose of using this qualitative data to analyze that. If your studies topic is on word cloud, word analysis, text analytics, if you want to do anything on analytics, then you can use it. For your question, which is conceptual paper, when you are trying to kind of come out, no need of such question where quantitative, qualitative and all, no. You are not going to derive anything out of that. Simply through meta-analysis, you are going to do. Meta in sense, reviews. Take your reviews, come out with the thorough study of your reviews, what they are trying to say, and you try and explain your theory, and you can conclude. Okay. For other papers, empirical paper, you may subject it to have quantitative as well as qualitative. So in such case, in SPSS, you are giving coding for that. For categorical data, you are giving coding for that. So you are giving weights for each and every option. Why we are giving weights? You are converting quantitative data to qualitative data. Okay. Income of the respondent. I have given option like say 10,000 to per month. I'm asking 10,000 to 25,000, 26,000 to 37,000, 38,000 to 45,000. What is this type of data?
Numerical continuous.
Numerical continuous. Next question is number of dependents for the respondent. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Numerical discrete.
Discrete.
Good. The degree of freedom on purchasing particular electronic gadget. Option. Strongly agree, strongly disagree, neutral, disagree, agree.
Categorical.
Categorical ordinal.
Categorical ordinal, because Likert scale, 5-point scale, which is orderly. So it is categorical ordinal. Okay. Do you like the product? Yes, no. What sort of data it is?
Categorical nominal.
Categorical nominal. Good.
Nominal.
Very good. Number of atoms diffused during the process P2 P1 is open-ended question. What sort of data would be? It would be
Numerical discrete.
okay. Any other option? Any other say preference that you have for this?
Numerical continuous.
Numerical continuous. Who's this?
Shiva.
Good. Numerical continuous. Atoms and all, last class itself I told, which is very much continuous. You can't measure. Now, one more point, one more question that I'm asking. Number of individuals preferring to say use the particular call option per second. What is this type of data?
Numerical
discrete.
Numerical discrete. Well, it is numerical continuous. You can't measure. So per second, per minute, it is moving variable. I am trying to explain you what is moving variable. Moving variable is covariate in nature, covariance in nature, where It is continuous in nature. You can't measure this per second, per minute. You can't measure how many have made a call, how many seconds that they made call. You can't measure that. Okay, very accurately. So certain things for like population, number of population, number of births, deaths, and all, it is continuous, very much continuous. You can't measure. So these are all the good example for that. Next class, I'm trying to have one quiz game to you so that you will, how many have scored what you can understand, you can get it. Last class we discussed about distribution, where it is uniform, binomial, normal, and I told about exponential. Say logic for binomial.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Ma'am Shiromi here. I have a doubt. With the last question that you asked for the number of respondents for the calls per second, things like that, though the population seems to be huge, but it is still measurable, no, ma'am. It
You
comes in the
can't,
whole number too.
can you measure the number of births within per second? You can't measure very accurately. Very accurately. Census itself, it's a data of approximation. Or it is not very accurate. It's very tough. Since you are dealing that what, it is a difference between population study and statistical study. In when you take sample study, when you take population study, it is method of approximation, where you may not take all, theoretically you will say this, but practically it is impossible. Yeah, approximately you can tell. That's it. You can't tell accurately. But when you take in statistics, a very sample that you are handling, you can approximately tell, measure everything accurately. That is easy. That is accurately you can measure in case of sample. A method of approximation is used in case of say population.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Name in case of trials and distribution. So binomial distribution is when trials are limited, but when success rate is very huge. It's called as binomial. I already told you in questionnaire, try to avoid asking yes, no, because your data will fall closer to your median. So please don't, to the max, please avoid say binomial sort of questions. That is dichotomous question, like say yes, no, true, false. You please avoid. Next one is normal distribution. When trials are high, success rate is also high. What is success rate? I am permitting you to run 100 to toss for toss a coin for 100 times. When you get 95 times that you get a success and 5 times that you got a error result, then it is called as a normal distribution, because which is very permissible. Your error rate is very much permissible, and your data will automatically fall to a distribution called as a normal distribution. These are all the explanation towards normal distribution. Next one is Poisson. Clue is when trials are high, success rate naturally will be less for it. So generally it's like a growth curve. It keep on, it goes to infinity. Its tail will go to infinity. So that is the clue for Poisson distribution. Then we spoke about significance level versus confidence level. Either one, you keep it in your mind, remember this, so that you will understand the concept. Without understanding that, most of you are in, most of the individuals are interpreting with the result. So confidence level speaks about the percentage of success rate. Significance level speaks about percentage of error rates. In social science study, disclaimer is, in social science study, we are permitting to have 5% of error rate. So significance level should be within 0.05. So your output in SPSS, where p value will be there, which that value should be below 0.05. Then you can continue, you can proceed with the interpretation. So that is about significance. Any doubts respect to significance and confidence level? Are you clear? Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, in case of type 1 and type 2 error. So type 1 error, for right,
Ma'am, you're not audible.
what you listened at last? Type 1, whether you...
No, ma'am,
Type
you
1
just
error.
began.
No, ma'am.
You just began.
So type 2 error only, you lost my connection, or during type 1 itself you
Type
lost?
1 itself,
Type
ma'am.
1
You
itself.
just began type 1, we lost you.
Ma'am, please repeat. Ma'am, please repeat both. Ma'am.
Okay. Type 1 error is incorrect rejection actually. Even though a particular are you hearing now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Even,
Yes, ma'am.
even though a product is perfectly good, you will reject it unknowingly. This is called as type 1 error. Type 1 error is false positive. College girl will do. Even though a guy is good, she will reject. So please remember this so that you will not forget it. So it is called as false positive. So it is measured through alpha value. Actually, this is in practice. Whatever you are getting result in any software, either it may be of using Smart PLS, or you may be using any software like say SPSS or SAS, or any software that you're using, you'll be getting output. That output is generally we are comparing through alpha value only. Alpha value is your value should be below 0.05. That is for social science study, only for social science study. For medicine and for engineering, some may asking us to go with 99%. It is 1% error value. In certain cases in medicine and other field, they are asking us to go with 0% error. So it should be of 100%, say, confidence value. So that is the case. So incorrect rejection is false positive. Even if a product is good, if you are rejecting that unknowingly, thinking that it is a falsy one, it is called as false positive. It is measured through alpha value. By nature, we are using this alpha for most of our interpretation. But currently in statistical community, they are using statistical power, that is beta value, which is measured in type 2 error. All these you are doing in hypothesis testing. When you are doing some hypothesis testing, you are checking this alpha, you are checking this beta, both you are doing actually. When when you take type 2 error, incorrect acceptance, without knowing say it is a faulty one, you will accept it, which is called as incorrect acceptance. It is like say marrying a wrong person. We used to say this comically while we explain this type 2 error, so that students or scholars will never forget it. Which is more damaging? Type 1 is incorrect rejection, presuming something, I'm sorry, for forcing, which is something which is wrong with the product, and we are rejecting that. Second one is thinking which is very correct, we will accept some wrong product into our say production, or for some for our real time project or something. So which is more damaging, type 1 or type 2?
Type 2.
Type 2.
Type 2 is more damaging because type 2 is measured, which is with us. This will create problem to us. Where type 1 we have rejected, but type 2 will be with us, which is harmful, which is erroneous one, where we are taking into, for example, you take this for production. When you take faulty appliances or faulty product into production line, this will create damaging output to you, which may lead to high alarming result. So in order to avoid that, we'll always be very careful in checking this beta. So now in most of the research papers, they are going with beta value, where 80% is permitted for say confidence level. They are considering 80% as confidence level and 20% as significance level in case of social science research. Everything I'm telling for social science research. Why is when you are doing some help for, when you supporting for, when you are doing any collaborative research with other department, please consider, revise this, revamp the percentage of confidence level and significance level, consider with them, and then do it. For our paper, our research, our work, we can go ahead with 20% as significance level and 80% as confidence level for beta value. There is one statistical package or web page to measure this beta value. Can do it in your normal analysis. You can do it. Some nowadays papers with beta values accepted, and they are welcoming in most refereed journals, they are accepting beta value. So if you want to do relate with beta value, you can relate with your beta value. For testing hypothesis, we will use alpha beta. If generally hypothesis negative statement, you will take it in null hypothesis. Positive statement, you will take it in alternate hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between the fertilizer and crop cultivation. If that is my null hypothesis, then I have to check my result. If my result value is below 0.05, then I have to say, here I'm using alpha value. Then I can say I can reject my null hypothesis, and I can clearly say there is significant relationship between fertilizers, the application of fertilizer and cultivation. Okay, so this is the way that you can apply your alpha, or you can apply your significance confidence level or value in your study. If you are using beta, in your result, your value should be below 20%, 0.2. Then you can say your value, you can reject your null hypothesis, and you can accept your alternate hypothesis that there is significant relationship between application of fertilizer and cultivation of crop. Are you clear with this type 1 and type 2 error?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next one.
Ma'am, just one more doubt. Ma'am, in case hypothesis designed, null hypothesis is designed, and we have an alternative hypothesis which is proved. So generally, only what is null hypothesis we have taken, that should only be proved, or it can be either way. Normally, we have a statement and then we write the paper, right? So in case
For every exercise, please write this, Jayanti, in your notebook, what you have asked today. For every exercise, I will make the scholar to write the null hypothesis, and the scholar will prove which is to be accepted, which is to be rejected. Okay. Procedure is, first hypothesis should come even before research problem for your thesis. Hypothesis should come first, because it is a testable statement. It is a doubt actually. Whatever the doubts that you have in your mind, you are writing that as a statement. So it is a testable statement. Hypothesis should come first, and procedure for writing hypothesis. There are so many hypotheses in nature. That is if-then hypothesis. I will tell you. There are slides for that also. Don't worry about that. There are dejectable hypothesis. There are general nomenclature for hypothesis is alternative hypothesis and null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is otherwise called a statistical hypothesis. It is better in your analysis and interpretation chapter. When you use null hypothesis, it is more than enough. No need to use null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis together in a particular paper or thesis or whatever it may be. Those who are good in statistics, they will understand, because one hypothesis is more than enough. Null hypothesis is a negative statement, which is otherwise called a statistical hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis is straight opposite to vice versa to null hypothesis, which is otherwise called as research hypothesis. So no need to write research hypothesis in your analysis and interpretation chapter or in paper. So procedure is, write your null hypothesis, then test your using any tool, parametric test or hypothesis you can apply for parametric as well as for non-parametric. You apply your test and get your result and interpret your result. If your result is below the permissible value of error value, or otherwise called a significance level, then if your result data is significant, what it means, it fits with the particular analysis. That's it. Data fits with that particular analysis. So you can reject your null hypothesis and you can accept your alternate hypothesis. Am I clear, Jayanti?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
One
Next
more
one,
doubt. I am
who is
Kumar,
this?
ma'am. Yeah, I am
Yes.
Kumar. Ma'am, now you told that null hypothesis is -1 and alternate hypothesis is a positive one. So
Yes.
does that depends on the type of study we are doing? That is, if suppose if we are doing a study to find some positive node, will it change? Or if we do a study to find some negative things, or does it actually relate to our objective straight away?
It is a template actually of a research procedure or statistical procedure, how to go about with the testable statement. Again, I repeat, hypothesis is a testable statement. This is the general procedure or general generic pattern of writing hypothesis goes within null hypothesis. Null hypothesis, we can prove or disprove by using the value that we are getting as the output in our analysis. It whether you are taking two positives, two negatives, or moderating, mediating, double mediating, whatever gimmicks, whatever monkey throw that you are trying to do, general nomenclature, traditional conventional pattern of checking your result is through null hypothesis. So it is called as statistical hypothesis. Once I tell fundas, please keep this concrete. This is a fundamental pattern of writing your, checking your result. Null hypothesis is a fundamental pattern of checking your result. You are telling there is no degree of relationship, or there is no coining of this or that, or there is no mediating variable, so-called say age or income, with respect to this particular reaction. There is no moderator. There is no, likewise, you can write in any pattern, but no, it is a negative statement. Why you are writing that is, you are checking, you are testing whether it is correct or not. It is a template, it is a procedural pattern, or it is a pattern that we are following in our research, say, pro forma. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. People will respect, because it's a world language. It's a world language of writing the null hypothesis. If you are doing something differently, then one page you have to spend why you are using differently, for what purpose you are using differently, how many papers they are using like this, and where you have collected from that. How do you say that you want to waste energy like that? If you want, you can try. So better you follow the pattern. For simple things, you can follow this. So since we are having the procedure to check your output in such a way, as per the pattern we are following, it's a format that we are following. If you totally don't want to use null hypothesis, use alternate hypothesis and check your result. If your result is below as per the significance level, then you can accept your alternate straightly, because you are using alternate hypothesis. My sincere advice is use null hypothesis, since it is called as statistical hypothesis. Use this for your analysis part and check your result and interpret. Okay. Shall I proceed with further variables?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, there are three types of variables, generally called as we will mention that as univariate, bivariate, multivariate. Okay. Are you seeing one Excel sheet here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, are you viewing this Excel sheet of age, income, education, and dependence?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Generally, when you ask any question in your questionnaire, you will get this in your output, maybe through Google Sheet or through SPSS format. This is the universal format that you will be getting as the output, whatever may be the height of analysis that you are doing or height of research that you are doing. This is general motherly granny's rule that you will be getting output like this only. R1, R2, R3, which representing rows or respondents. Respondent 1, he answered question for age, income, education, dependent. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
A respondent 2 is answering like this. Respondent 3 is answering, respondent 4, respondent 5, so forth. So each and every row is giving the responses for each and every questions respectively. Column headers are your questions. Column headers are your questions. So I have mentioned here as question under A. First row, first column, I have mentioned that as question. So columns are representing questions, rows are representing responses from the respondent. Are you having any doubt here? Any doubts?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Clear.
Columns are questions in your questionnaire. Rows are responses from the respondent. Okay. Why I am telling all these things? First, you have to clear this. Irrespective of the software that you are using, this is the pattern of output that you will be getting. Okay. So now univariate, variate and variable, I want to explain you. Rather than theoretically telling, please look into this. Here age is the variable, 12, 13, 14, 16, 58 is the variate. Income is the variable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1 is your variate. Education is variable, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4 is variate or variates. Dependence is the question. So it is a variable. 0, 1, 2, 1, 1 are variates. Are you clear?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
what I'm trying to say here is age is the question that you are posing in your questionnaire. So it is a variable. Why it is variable? It is varying. Your result may vary. So it is called as variable. So age is the variable. Random outcome for each and every question that you are asking in your questionnaire is called as variate. When I tell this theory, you will not understand. Now you will understand. This is the outcome. Am I correct? For the question for age, this is the outcome given by the respondents. Respondent ஓட response இது 12, 13 அவங்களோட ஏஜ் வந்து 12, 13, 14, 16, 58 ன்னு he has given. Respondent has responded. So these are all random outcome of your variable. When you get the random outcome of your variable, which is called as variate. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? கொஸ்டின் கேட்கறது வந்து வேரியபிளோட நிக்குது. வேரியேட்னா அவங்கள்ட்ட வந்த ரெஸ்பான்சஸ் தான் என்னது? வேரியேட். What you are receiving as responses from the respondent is called as variate. Are you clear?
It's very clear, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
ஏன்னா இதை வந்து திருப்பி ஐஐடிலேருந்து கேட்குறாங்க உங்களுக்கு. அவங்க வந்து கேட்கும்போது திருன்னு மொழிப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா நமக்கு தெரியறது இல்லை. ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணணும்? படிச்சிடணும் நம்ம. We have to study the basic terms when you go for any research paper even. So even person from IIT recently asked this question. Variable, variate. This is variable. This is variate. There is a book called as Multivariate Analysis by Hare et al. It's a standard book that you can study for statistics. Today I will attach in your web, in your GCR. You can download and you can use it. Where all the basic terms you should know. Even though I take in class, If you want to learn, you can learn from that also. So you should know this. So univariate means this is for age you get one response. When you do any analysis only with age, only with income, only with education, only with dependence, it is called as univariate because you are using only one variable for your analysis. Variable means you can't use this variable for your analysis. You have to use your variate. So it is called as univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. Univariate means when you use only age, it is called as univariate. When you use age and income together, called as bivariate. When you use age, income, education, dependence all together in your analysis, which is called as multivariate. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
So only they are not, because of this concept only, they are not using term called as univariable analysis, bivariable analysis. You can't do any analysis with variable. Only with variate you can do analysis.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of the word variance?
Later we will tell. I'll tell. Next slide is coming with that. If you confuse terms which is not related anything with this concept, I will confuse. Okay, I will get confused. So terms related to this, please study together. Do as a cluster study. Please don't study the unrelated terms here. You will get confused. Okay, I'll tell that. It is coming in the next slide. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, Linson here.
Yes.
Ma'am, can one question have two variables?
One questions can how you can have? Please tell me.
Like if you are asking to say in this particular example, age and income, or say age and sex, gender. So how will we counter that? One question with two variables.
One question represents one variable.
Okay.
One question cannot represent two variables. I think you are confused with this. Construct variables. Okay. Construct and variables. Construct is customer satisfaction. For example, I'm taking.
Okay.
Customer. I think it is jumping somewhere else. Customer satisfaction. This is one variable. Customer satisfaction can be measured through price, through place. For example, I'm using this. There may be some other scale also. You have to refer. But according to 4P, I'm just trying to explain you. Price, place, promotion, product I left. So product. So I can ask the satisfactory level based on these 4 P's through which I can measure this customer satisfaction. So this customer satisfaction here, it is construct. It is construct here. This is called as construct. So construct cannot be measured straightly. Cannot be measured straightly. It is further measured by using different variables. Variables called as price, place, promotion, product. Under price, you may have many questions. You may have many questions. Under place, you may have many questions. Under promotion, you may have 10 or 15 questions. Under product, they are telling these questions as relative indicators. They are mentioning that as relative indicators. Are you clear? This customer satisfaction or construct is usually unmeasurable. You can't measure straightly. It is a latent construct actually. Constructs are latent in nature, hidden in nature. Straight up satisfaction measure panna mudiyadhu. You can't ask whether you are satisfied or not. That is not a question at all. So you can measure it through different dimensions. These dimensions or variables, each and every variables may have many questions. Many questions. They are telling these questions as relative indicators or items that they are telling. Are you clear?
Yes.
Ma'am, Shiva here, ma'am, one question. Yes. Can a construct be a variable? Because I use customer satisfaction as a moderate variable.
this construct generally constructs variables or people are interchanging. Actually, you should not interchange. Construct is a broader sense of explaining any attribute. Actually, that particular construct is not measured. When something is not measured straightly, it is called as construct, which has so many dimensions to get measured, through which you can measure that particular construct. So how many dimensions are that? That dimensions are generally called as variables. This constructs variables are used in certain software. Certain softwares they are using manifest latent. Some other software is using construct and items. Some softwares they are using the terms called as so it depends upon software that you're using, but actually statistically speaking, constructs and variables or constructs are measured, cannot be measured straightly, can be measured using different variables. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Shall I move to
Sometimes people find latent variables using the construct, no? Like structural equation modeling.
Again, you are confusing. There they are using latent variable is construct that they are meaning. That's what I'm trying to say. Software to software, they are interchanging these two terms. But fundamentally, constructs are latent in nature. அதனால தான் நான் variable use பண்ணல. Latent variable and manifest variables are two variables. Latent variables are generally constructs. நீங்க கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆயிடக்கூடாது. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்லேயே யூ ஷுட் நாட் கெட் கன்ஃபியூஸ்ட். கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட்ஸ் சில சாஃப்ட்வேர்ல அதை லேட்டன்ட் வேரியபிள்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. நீங்க உங்களே ஒன்று புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க, லேட்டன்ட்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. லேட்டன்ட் இஸ் ஹிடன். உங்களால ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டா கண்டுபிடிக்கவே முடியாது. யூ கான்ட் ஆஸ்க் வெதர் யூ ப்ரிஃபர் திஸ் பர்டிகுலர் ப்ராடக்ட் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் ஐ எம் ஆஸ்கிங் அபவுட் investors' behavior. You can't straightly measure investors' behavior. So investors' behavior is a construct. You can measure this investors' behavior through various dimensions. Those dimensions are named as variables. இதை மட்டும் நீங்க கான்ஸ்டன்டா மைண்ட்ல வச்சுக்கோங்க. Construct is latent in nature, which is hidden. You can measure it through different variables. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
In AMOS, they will use this latent variable, manifest variable and all. In papers also, they will use this. Latent variable is generally construct. Okay. Shall I go to next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you clear with variable and variate?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are going to statistics. Types of statistics. One is descriptive, other one is inferential. Descriptive, inferential, both are very, very important. Descriptive tells about how you can organize, summarize your data, make it in an informative way. You can coin one data with other. Generally, you will get your census data, right? You can coin one with other, with the income, with your purchasing pattern, with the whether they own the house or rental house. You can do sort of comparative analysis. Can able to, with the explored data, you can able to make some sort of in a representative way, in an informative way, you can able to summarize and organize. You can do that with the descriptive statistics. I can ask you a question. You are collecting data for your research, maybe for your paper or for your PhD research. You are collecting your data. Descriptive data will tell you how many of them liked a particular product, how many of them are satisfied with the price, product, place, promotion. You can total them, you can tell them, because descriptive statistics, you can total them, you can take average, you can take how they are deviated from this original score. All these things you can do. Is it okay that a thesis can stop with descriptive statistics, and why people are moving with other analysis? Is it required generally? Or people are foolishly doing, or they are overdoing, or whether it is required actually?
Ma'am, if we are arranging things in a particular order and then we are telling this is the description, why it is in that particular order, we have to know. So that was made by inferential statistics and other calculations. So that's very
Inferential
essential.
statistics that not does not tell about why we are making it in order, disorder,
No, why it
nothing.
is in that particular way?
No, inferential statistics something different. It is not going to tell anything about order or anything that we are doing about in descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics gives you how to sum, how to take average, how actually you can tell how many of, for example, a current movie, how many of them watch that movie, how frequently that they are watching, whether they like or what, how many times they are telling it they like that particular thing, or everything we can get through descriptive statistics. All their frequencies, repeated say distributions, everything you can able to measure through descriptive statistics. Then why people are going to structured equation modeling or through other analysis, why people are going to other, because descriptive tells you, for example, if your thesis is about customer loyalty, I can tell how many of them are preferring this, how many of them are going for repeated purchases, and why they are going for repeated purchases. Everything I can tell through descriptive statistics. Then why I have to use inferential?
Ma'am, we want to take decision like what we need to take, like the similar test kind of things and all.
We
So,
can do it through descriptive. You want to measure loyalty, right? Here, how many times that they are going, why they are going, you are going to ask Likert scaling. Strongly agree. They are telling I am strongly agreeing, I like the product. So you can measure accurately how much they like it. That's what you want in your thesis.
that's what we want, but how confident we are, those type of things is missing.
Descriptive statistics confidently tells how much they like, because I have taken my data set.
Ma'am,
Forecast, ma'am.
inferential helps to extrapolate the data, madam. From current, we
Forecast.
know this. So from what we know, we want to extend to what is possible. So then I'll use inferential.
What is
trend
possible?
analysis.
In the future, this will
Trend
happen.
analysis you can use only, even through descriptive you can do it. No need to go for inferential statistics. Who said simply trend is not inferential? It is very much descriptive. Simply you can take your data and Excel itself, in your normal Excel sheet you can do it. So inferential statistics, why do you want this?
Say, I explained with an example. Say, for example, we are tossing a coin. Okay, so 100 times we are tossing the coin. So 60 times comes head and 40 times comes tail. So by descriptive statistics, we'll tell that the 60% of the chance we will get of getting the head. But inferential statistics, if you do some test, it will tell how significant it is, so that we can it is exactly same or not. We can able to tell.
You can't use if your result is below 40%. I'm sorry, if it is of the significance level is not below 5%, you will not permitted to take that output for analysis at all. Then only you are thinking about inferential statistics.
Ma'am, market forecasting.
See, kindly be very practical. Don't use technical jargons. Please be very practical. How, in what way it is? Please go into your thesis. Just you imagine you are presenting for your public vivos. It's a question that they are asking to you. How will you answer?
Ma'am, let's say I'm studying leadership in two geographies. For example, Chennai and Bangalore.
Okay, who is this?
Shiva, madam.
Okay.
Now, I have understood something that is happening in Chennai and Bangalore. Now, I want to predict in India this is what is happening. Then I will use inferential.
Inferential, what you will predict with that?
That the sample that I have taken is possibly fitting the larger population, extended population. Then I'm creating an inference and I'm predicting.
Please don't coin word for inference with this. Where you cannot tell that. Actually, descriptive statistics will give 99% of your result. What you are doing in your thesis, 99% of your result holds with descriptive statistics. Inferential statistics, it's a beauty of inferential statistics. Till now, you didn't open. You people didn't open. For that only, I'm trying to get words. I'm trying to get answer from your side.
Ma'am, to put it in a statement, ma'am, to conclude something, we use inferential statistics.
You can conclude with descriptive. Why do you want to use inferential statistics? Inferential, descriptive itself will do all those things. You can clearly say why, what, when, everything. Inferential statistics can able to relate one with other. Can able to relate. For example, you know percentage of rainy, percentage of crop cultivation. That you can measure through descriptive statistics. I want to know whether rainfall is the ultimate reason for crop cultivation or not. I can't do with descriptive. I have to go to inferential statistics. Use, if it is purely quantitative, I can apply correlation, or I can apply regression. I can apply t-test. I can apply ANOVA. I can clearly say, I can compare means with different crops, with different fields. I can compare which fertilizer is good, which fertilizer is not good. I can use all beautiful results only through inferential statistics. I can compare one with other. I can relate one with other. I can able to foresee one with other. I can able to take many variables together. I can do relative analysis. I can relate. I can relate one with other. And also, I can able to justify my result and can able to use that as a test sample, and I can able to trial with other database also. All these things I can use with the inferential statistics. Not only prescriptive, I can do prescriptive study. I can use, I can do exploratory study. I can also use diagnostic study. Everything I can do with the inferential statistics, not with the descriptive. Descriptive is like, say, parrot word. What is there in your data, you can tell. Extra words, you can't able to narrate anything, or you can't able to find the causal reasons, causal exact causes for the particular issues or problems. Only through inferential statistics you can get some meaningful results for your thing. And also, one scholar has mentioned this, evidence. You can give evidential results only through inferential statistics. You can able to do it. Someone is interpreting. Who's that? Someone is asking some question. What is that?
Ma'am, we can construct models with inferential statistics and not with descriptive. Am I right?
Correct, correct. You can't do it. You can't do it. Descriptive can be able to describe. You can explore your data. That's it. Other than extra work, you can do extra mileage. You can do only through inferential. Only through inferential. Model is not a technical term. Everything is model. Correlation is one model. Regression is model. Chi-squared is model. ANOVA is model. Everything is model in statistics. Model is the paramount. It is a boundary for particular pro forma for a particular test. That's it. You are feeding your data to check whether that is within the framework of that particular test or not. If it is not there, system data output will say no. So you will accept your null hypothesis. You will straight away quit from that test. You can use some other test to analyze. That's it. Okay. Model is not a model, is a framework. That's it. Don't tell structured equation model is a model. Remaining others are not model. All are models. All are models. Starting from, say, correlation to final all test, what you are doing in your inferential statistics, all are models only. Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, one more doubt, man. Like as you said, like to finding the relationship, we use inferential statistics. Just have a doubt. Like if you have plotting a graph between the age and income, so if we are using the two variables, so it will become under this descriptive, no, or inferential. Just I thought it is a descriptive. So
if you do any sort of simply plotting graph, will come under descriptive. There's no meaning in that. If you want to do any sort of relativity, relationship, if you want to sort of do any sort of testing of hypothesis, everything will come under inferential statistics only. So when you do any sort of testing out of that, or comparing one with other, mean with other, when you try to do anything, will come under inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics, every school student is doing this with the graph. So age of the respondent, income of the respondent, occupation. Our BBA student will try. Now we are strictly warning them to draw any graph. By drawing graph does not mean whether statistics is descriptive or inferential, but as per your question, I am answering. It is very much descriptive. Inferential statistics, I may give example for graphs. Scatter plot. There are so many plots to explain. From that, you can able to explain your regression curve. You can able to explain pivot. I'm sorry. So many graphs related to this. Maybe we may explain about even line graph can explain much on the continuous growth of the particular data. So depends upon the objective of using that graph, you can bifurcate whether it is descriptive or inferential. Okay.
See, as you said, like, the plot is like the scatter plot. Scatter plot is like between age and income. If you plot, that is actually descriptive, that is descriptive, the scatter plot. Am I right?
Objective of using the particular graph holds the analysis. Actually, in regression, you may use this age and income. You can't say it is a descriptive. That particular graph will tell you the relationship between scatter plot of regression, tells you very clearly whether correlation is negative or positive, strongly correlated, or which is not strongly correlated or weakly correlated. It will tell. Okay.
So QQ plot will
by the title of plot, you QQ plot or PP plot or PQ plot, whatever may be the plot. Objective of using this plot tells about whether it is descriptive or inferential.
Okay.
The place where you are using your plot, in short, I am telling where you are using, for what purpose you are using. That tells the bifurcation of descriptive or inferential. Are you clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Descriptive statistics, why you are using this simple, it's a bird's view. I am just explaining you. Mean median. First, I'll start with the mean median, then I'll tell you variance, as Jayanti asked, standard deviation, and so many things we can go. So mean is the average, what we are calculating. Here we are not worrying about any formula because we are not for it. We are for PhD, that we are working with a software where software will do everything within a fraction of second, because we are using very good number of data where we won't find time to calculate using calculator. We don't find time. Even if it's a big data, we can take our output within a fraction of second. So that's the case actually. Here mean is the average actually. So total number of observation divided by number of observation taken for the study. So that is your mean of the data. Median of the data is a center point, which is the midpoint for your study. Mode is the frequently arrived data. How many times that an individual watched that movie? How many times that particular song got applause, or any significant measure that you want to do? How many times an individual went for purchasing, or how many times he asked doubts? How many times he made mistakes? How many times? So to calculate how many number, actually it is called as weights. How many times is generally the frequency of the regularly appeared data. That is how many times it is going to get happened. So that is generally called as a mode. And a range. Range is generally maximum and minimum. So what is your maximum value? What is the minimum value? Okay. Then we are going to discuss about the variance. Variance is generally what is the origin, how far your data is different or deviated, or how far your data is different from your original score. That is generally measured as the variance actually. Square root of your variance is your standard deviation. Okay. So a teacher is asking question to the kids, those who are studying in pre-KG or in play school, or whether my audio is there, whether we are
Yes,
class.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Very much, very silence. So
No,
you are
no,
in
we're
good.
listening.
No. Clear, clear.
Okay. Okay. So in a play school, teacher is asking to a kid, to students also in general, say how many legs are there for a particular, for a frog. One kid is telling 5, one is telling 12, one is telling, thinking something, assuming something, some kid is telling 30, and other one is telling 25. You are having, that is teacher is having gift or prize for the kid which is telling exact answer or a good answer. So if you are a teacher, to whom you will give this prize?
The one closest to the answer.
Who's telling this?
Shiva.
Good. So which is the closest answer?
3, I think. He said.
I didn't tell 3.
5.
5, sorry,
5.
5.
5. The kid which is telling 5. That is called as variance. Variance generally is to be understood in this way. Which is the original answer?
4.
4. What is the answer that the kid say? 5.
5.
Which is a closer to the original answer. So which is least closer to the original answer to be taken into consideration. Which would be the significant outcome for your result, for your say study. So that is called as a variance. In such a way, you have to interpret your variance. There is no tool or threshold value to say it is correct, this is not wrong, this is correct, that is not wrong. By comparing different outputs, you can able to say which is okay for your study. So square root of your variance is standard deviation. Square root of your variance is your standard deviation. There is a formula for calculating variance also. So we are not worrying about the formula here. Yes, please.
Sorry, ma'am. Shiva here.
Yes.
In this example, we know the answer, therefore we know variance.
That's what I am trying to say you. When you take your result, for example, you may have your result. You may have your result of say variance. You can able to, you cannot generically, you can't able to tell things which is very predominant. That is, this is the correct, that is the correct. That's what I explained you. This is correct, this is not correct. You can't able to tell. But you can able to understand only through minimum the standard deviation, maximum the efficacy of your result. That people will, according to research community, they will comment on the result based on, because this is descriptive. That is the problem with the descriptive statistics. You can't say which is exactly correct, which is exactly, only through inferential statistics you can able to interpolate or extrapolate your result. We can able to tell with the minimum the deviation, minimum the standard deviation, maximum your efficacy of your result, so that you can able to tell. So in this way you have to understand your variance. Understanding of your variance is the difference between precise value to your original score, actual value to the original value, how far it is dispersed. That what dispersion of data is measured through variance. Dispersion of your data is measured through variance. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Entire statistics goes with the dispersion of data. Distance measure only. How it is dispersed. Even correlation is measured through dispersion. Regression is the higher end of correlation. People will say this is different output, that is different. No. Once you do correlation, you have to do your regression. You can check your hypothesis only through correlation. Then you can take it to your regression. Regression can quantify your result, where correlation is the first minimal test to tell whether your taken set of variables are related or not. Okay. So this is variance, standard deviation. Next one is symmetricity. I told about this. Please imagine the normal distribution, curve of normal distribution, and then you think about the symmetricity of the curve. When your curve at the both the sides are symmetric, then there is no skewness. It's called as lack of skewness. There is no skewness in that. And you imagine the pointiness of the curve. When it is bell shaped, it is free from kurtosis. So if it is there, then you have to tell what sort of kurtosis it is having and what you have to do to rectify that, so that to bring your data to normal. Okay. Then you have this hypothesis testing. You have to think about that when you go for further analysis of, say, inferential statistics. Okay, then you have to, generally when you have your data, when you collect your data, you have to do pre-processing, that is cleaning of your data. You have to do data cleaning. It's a very good process actually. If you are very healthier in doing this data cleaning or data pre-processing, you are highly eligible to do your analysis. Your data will be free from errors. 90% of your errors will be rectified when you do proper data pre-processing. Okay, what is outlier here? There are two concepts that you have to consider when you go for data pre-processing or data cleaning. From this data set, what is outlier? What do you understand?
95 and 1 are outliers. They are extreme datas.
95 is definitely an outlier.
95 is the outlier.
1.
And
not 1 actually. Quite close.
1, 5, 6, 3. 1, since you have 3, you should not say 1 as the outlier.
Yeah.
If you are saying 1 as the outlier, Jayanti is the outlier to this class.
No. Only 95.
95 alone is outlier.
35 is outlier. Who's this?
95.
95 is outlier. 35 is also outlier according to me.
Yeah, 35 is
அவனும்
outlier.
கொஞ்சம் ஜாஸ்தியா தான் இருக்கு. 35 is also outlier. 95 and 30. 35 சொல்லியிருந்தா கூட சந்தோஷப்பட்டிருப்பேன். ஜெயந்தி வித்தியாசமா இருக்கு, மூளை வேறமா வேலை செய்யுது. அதான் எனக்கு ஒன்றும் புரியல. ஸோ ஐ எம் ரெக்டிஃபைங். ஆக்சுவலி நான் ப்ரீ ப்ராசஸிங் யாரை பண்றேன்னா ஜெயந்தி தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் என்டையர் கிளாஸ்லயும். ஸோ வேரியன்ஸ் நடத்தி, வேரியபிள் நடத்தினா வேரியன்ஸ் ஓடி போயிடுறாங்க, வேரியேட் நடத்தினா வேரியன்ஸ் ஓடி போயிடுறாங்க. ஸோ வேரியன்ஸ் கிட்ட வந்தா சத்தத்தையே காணோம். சரி ஜெயந்தி, டு யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வேரியன்ஸ் நவ்?
Ma'am, pakka definition you gave, ma'am.
சரி, நம்ம கிளாஸ் தவக்கலை, புலி, பூனை, எலி இதை வச்சே முடிஞ்சிடும் ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ 95, 35 is outlier. ஸோ அவுட்லையர்னா என்னன்னு புரிஞ்சிச்சு. இட்ஸ் an எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் வேல்யூ, அன்இமேஜினபிள் எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் வேல்யூ. எதனால வந்திருக்கும்? ஒய், நம்ம திமிர்னால. ஸோ நம்ம டைப் அடிக்கும் போது தப்பா அடிச்சு வச்சிருப்போம். 9க்கு பதிலாக 9ஓட 5 பேசிக்கிட்டே. when you type or typewriter, when you appoint someone for job typing, they will do all things which is wrong. So we have to check this. This is called as outlier, which is a systematic error. So maybe 95, 35 maybe of typo errors. It is considered as outlier. Why we have to consider about this outlier? Why? What we have to do with this outlier?
Because say for example, if you take an average, we want to say what is an average of it. If this outlier will make more inference and then change the value completely.
Inference விட inflated output. இதுக்கு ஆவரேஜ் எடுத்தோம்னா எங்கேயோ போய் நிற்போம். 70 கிட்ட வருமா, 65 கிட்ட வந்து நிற்போம். ஸோ இன்ஃப்ளேட்டட் அவுட்புட் வரும். இன்ஃப்ளேட்டட் மீன் இன்ஃப்ளேட்டடா இருக்கும், ரொம்ப ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கும். ஸோ திஸ் மே கிவ் ராங் அவுட்புட், ராங் சே ரிசல்ட் அண்ட் ஆல். ஓகே, for this how we can treat it? What we have to do?
We can remove the outlier from the data set, or else we can make that outlier to some reasonable value, like mean value of, by removing the.
Who's answering actually?
Karthikeyan.
If you remove this, I have taken only 100. 100ல 50 தப்பா டைப் அடிச்சு வச்சிருக்கேன். 50 shall I remove 50?
No. So
replace it with the average.
We replace with an average or mode, something. Average or medium.
Mode எல்லாம் சொல்ல பண்ணக்கூடாது. Average is okay, but you should not actually. So to avoid this, there are two procedures that you have. One is you have to take more sample size. That what I'm here always advising you to take maximum sample size, so that we can easily we can remove it. Your response, this sort of response should be of 30% only. 100 இருந்தனா 30% permissible, அதுவுமே to the larger extent. So 10 டேட்டால 3 டேட்டா தப்பா இருக்கலாம்ங்கிறதே ரொம்ப ஜாஸ்தி. மேக்ஸிமம் 2-1 கிரானிஸ் ரூல், தம் ரூல். ஸோ 10 டேட்டாக்கு ஒரு டேட்டா தப்பா இருக்கலாம். ஸோ ஃபார் திஸ் கேஸ் you should able to resolve it in a good way. 9-5ல இன்னொரு மெத்தடும் இருக்கு. First, I think they might have typed correctly. 9 அடிச்சிட்டு தெரியாம 5 பட்டிருக்கும் பாருங்க, அதுலயும் பாருங்க 3 அடிச்சிட்டு தெரியாம 5 பட்டிருக்கு. So pattern of doing errors you have to see how they are doing errors. அதுக்கு ஒரு அனாலிசிஸ் இருக்கு. So you have to see that. So 9 5 இந்த 5 தெரியாம தொட்டுறாங்க போல இருக்கு. So 9 would be the first response, 3 would be the second response. So logically we can gauge and do. பெரிய டேட்டா இருக்கு, data is very much large, then as per your statement you have to check the percentage of outliers. If it is 1%, 2%, straight away we can remove it. No need to worry of breaking our head and filling data, pseudo data into it. If it is above 3 but you want that out variable to be there, கண்டிப்பா உங்க கைடும் நீங்களும் கண்டிப்பா அந்த வேரியபிள் வேணும்னு ரெண்டு பேரும் பிடிச்சி வச்சிருக்கீங்கன்னா then you can use. ஏன்னா நீங்க அந்த குக்கிங்கே நான் பர்மிட் பண்ண மாட்டேன். I will not advise you to cook your data by giving mean median லாம். So generally we should not do. நான் இன்னொரு கொஸ்டின் கேட்க விட்டேனே, மீடியன் எதுக்கு வேணும்? Why do you go for median?
To see the center value, that this center value of it.
Central tendency.
ஐயோ ஜெயந்தி, central tendency தாம்மா mean, median, mode. Central tendency is a common umbrella. Under this umbrella you have this. Whether my voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Under central tendency as an umbrella, it's a family brand name. Under that only you have mean, median, mode, range, variance, standard deviation எல்லாம். சரியா? மீடியன் உடனே சென்ட்ரல் டெண்டன்சிங்க கூடாது. தான் வார்த்தைகள்லயே யூஸ் பண்ணாதீங்க. எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றோம்னு தெரிஞ்சுன்னு யூஸ் பண்ணணும். டெண்டன்சி, சென்ட்ரல் டெண்டன்சி is measured, is generally measured through mean, median, mode, range, variance, standard deviation. இதெல்லாம் ஜெனரல் கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஆஃப் டேட்டாவை எடுத்துட்டு டோட்டல் பண்ணி போடுறது. இதனால தான் இது டிஸ்கிரிப்டிவ்னு வந்திருக்கு. எல்லாம் டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் ஆஃப் யுவர் டேட்டா. இட் நரேட்ஸ், இட் டெல்ஸ் யூ தி கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் attribute of your data set. Why do you want median?
Median, say just a median and average is nearly same, then it is not
sure.
If you want to check
median and mean is not same. Mean is average, median is central point. Why do you want median? Why
you can median, you can check how skewed the data is.
Yes.
Because if it goes up,
skewed the data
because it's going away from the median.
How much the data is deviated?
Skewness.
Ma'am, based on the median only, rest of the data will be analyzed to know whether it is within the range or it is outside. It's like outlier is there or not to measure.
அவ்வளோ எல்லாம் போக வேண்டாம். அவுட்லயர்லாம் நீங்க பார்த்தாலே கண்டுபிடிச்சிருவீங்க. மீடியன் வந்து எதுக்கு போறோம்னா, I want to study the performance of a class. I can easily measure through mean. மீன்னா ஆவரேஜ் எப்படி படிச்சிருக்கான்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். If I want to compare one with other, I can do it. மீடியன் எதுக்குன்னா, சென்டர் பாயிண்டே 19 வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். If 90 is the center point, what do you understand? Median point is 90னா எக்கச்சக்கமா அந்த மேடம் என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, மார்க்கை போட்டிருக்காங்க. இல்ல ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து அதிமேதாவின்னு அர்த்தம். மீடியன் பாயிண்ட் வச்சே கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம். மீடியனே 90னா அப்ப அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட் எப்படி ஃபுல் மார்க் எத்தனை பேர் வாங்கியிருப்பான்? எல்லாம் 99, 100, 99, 100, 98, 99, 100, because median itself 90. So you can able to understand the frequencies by skewness. அந்த லெவலுக்குலாம் போக வேண்டாம். இன்னும் எப்படியோ திங்க் பண்ணிட்டு போறீங்க. பயங்கர ட்ரீமி கிளாஸா இருக்குது. ஸோ எனிவே தேங்க்யூ தட் யூ ஆர் குட் இன் இமேஜினிங். ஸோ மீடியன் இஸ் central point. You can able to understand. If center point itself this value means, you can understand what about these two sides. For that you can mode. Why do you want mode? Mode.
What is the most occurring?
Why do you worry about that? Occurite போறது. Why do you worry about that? In what way it is significant? Why do you use this? Whether practically we are using this mode application.
Yeah, if you have missing data, then if you want to manipulate something.
Yeah, எங்கேயும் ஓடி போயிடுது இந்த கிளாஸ். மிஸ்ஸிங் டேட்டாக்கு மோடுக்கும் என்ன சம்பந்தம்? மோடுனா திருப்பி வர டேட்டா. அதாவது திருப்பி நீங்க if I use same thing for repeatedly, you can tell 5 times I went to that particular shop, 5 times I took tea, 5 times I took coffee per day. 25 times I used but, and. So if you want to do anything properly, if you want to do any sort of analysis like that, you have to go for mode. Yeah. Repeated frequency கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்னா I have to go for mode. Mode எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றோம்னு கேக்குறேன். For your lifetime in your
To know the
regular
general characteristics of the data. Characteristics இதோட தான் வச்சு சொல்லிடலாம்.
கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஆஃப் டேட்டா தான் இதெல்லாம் பண்றோம். மீன், மீடியன், மோட், ரேஞ்ச், வேரியன்ஸ். இது வந்து திருப்பி ரிப்பீட்டட் ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி தான் மோடு. ஒய் டு யூ வாண்ட் டு ஸ்டடி மோட்? மோட் வச்சு யூஸ் பண்றோமா ரியல் லைஃப்ல? வெதர் வி ஆர் யூசிங் இன் ஆர் ரியல் லைஃப்?
எஸ் மேம்.
ஃபார் வாட்
மேம்? திருப்பி திருப்பி ஒருத்தன் லேட்டா வந்தா இவன் தான் லேட்டா வரான்னு கண்டுபிடிச்சு அவனுக்கு பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கலாம்.
சரி, இதெல்லாம் வந்து நீங்க வந்து in practical application for calculating IMBD for a movie, how many times they watched? For calculating for preference of a product, how many times they gave thumbs up? Everything is measured in social media nowadays. Everything is measured. How many of them said thumbs up? How many of them said likes in Facebook? They are using through modes only, no, right? Am I correct? How many of them said likes? How many of them said dislikes? Or everything, thumbs up, thumbs down, everything you are measured through mode. Mode is a repeated frequency that regularly used to measure the favor of something or which is not favorable to certain things, or to grade something, to rank something. You will be using mode. Mode is a very predominant application used to rate something. To rate something, you have to use this mode operation. Are you clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So outlier is the extreme value. Missing value means what? மோடுக்கும் மிஸ்ஸிங் வேல்யூக்குலாம் சம்மந்தம் இல்லை. ஸோ நான் என்ன சொல்றேனோ அதை மட்டும் எடுத்துக்கோங்க. மற்றவங்க சொல்றதை நான் திருத்திடுறேன். ப்ளீஸ் டோன்ட் டேக் அதர்ஸ். எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணிடுறீங்க. மிஸ்ஸிங் வேல்யூ does not have any relativity with the mode and all. Mode is something which is a repeated occurrence of the particular data. So what is missing value? Missing value.
Data is
The
not
exact point which we are looking for.
variant. For some way, variant data is not available.
Available. Very good. For certain cases, data will not be available. எப்ப நடக்கும் missing value?
When the respondent missed to enter some values.
Very good. Very good. You are with the current topic of study. இந்த மாதிரி கிளாஸ்ல லேட்டா வந்தா இந்த மாதிரிலாம் நீங்க சொல்லக்கூடாது. இது வந்து என்ன பண்ணணும், உங்க ரிசர்ச்சோடையே கனெக்ட் பண்ணி சொல்லணும். ஏன்னா நான் ரிசர்ச்ல இருந்து தூக்கி எங்கேயோ கொண்டு போயிடுறீங்க. எப்போதும் என்ன பண்ணணும், ரிசர்ச்குள்ளே ப்ளீஸ் கன்ஃபைன் யூ வித் யுவர் ரிசர்ச் டாபிக், வித் யுவர் ரிசர்ச், வித் யுவர் அனாலிசிஸ். தென் only you will progress properly. The missing value is when your respondent is not entering, if is omitting, that is considered as the missing value. Okay. When this will occur?
When the respondent is not willing to answer the question.
Why he is not willing to answer the question?
He may not know, or it may be sensitive data for him.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. I think this is Karthikeyan. Am I correct?
Correct, Karthikeyan. Yes.
Okay. Okay. When you are, that is the possible thing. And one more possibility is also there. When this missing value may occur is when your questions are open-ended. And your questions are open-ended. If you ask about income, they will not give answer. They may think whether this form will go to income tax office, or they will suspect that you belong to income tax department. They will not answer you. Most probable missing, the question with the missing values are high rated missing values are with the income, questions with the income. When you ask anything related to income or social status, you may find missing values. So when your questions are open-ended, this may happen. When your question is with closed-ended, when you give options to them, they will tick within that, because it is method of approximation where it is not very accurate. Am I correct? You will give some value, 10,000 to 1 lakh to 2 lakhs. 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs. Likewise, you will give some option. So they will give tick mark within that, so that they will think that it will not form to exact value what they try to say. Okay, or they will give some dubious false value to you. That is that. But missing there is no occurrence chance for getting missing value when you are with the closed ended. You can avoid.
Ma'am, even when entering data, if you miss to enter, it can happen.
Whose problem? That is not original missing. That is your own arrogance. If you have data, if you are not typing data, then whose problem? That is not missing value. Missing value is a respondent is not responding. It is called as missing value. If he is not giving answer, if he is not giving response, is called as missing value. If you are not typing that properly, then that is your problem, that you are not typing properly. If you are purposely missing that, then that is your mistake. That is a mistake. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then skewness and kurtosis. That's what we discussed on the title. Do you want break of 10 minutes?
Yes, please, madam.
Okay. We'll join after, say, we'll join by 11:25. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you seeing screen now?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Okay. Skewness and kurtosis. This is all about this what I explained here. When you find any lack of symmetricity, that is with respect to symmetry, respect to your curve, then you can call that as skewness actually. When it is left, when it is skewed at the left side, it is called as negatively skewed. It is called as negatively skewed. When it is skewed at the right side, which is called as positively skewed. When it is say it's a symmetric, it is not skewed. This is actually a perfect normally distributed curve. So when it is skewed to right, I'm sorry, left, it is called as negatively skewed. Skewed to right is called as positively skewed. In both the case, your data will be not normally distributed. So when you want to gain normal distribution of your say data dispersion, then you should not have this sort of skewed curve. So for this, there are certain transformation where without losing any statistical property, you can able to transform your data to normally distributed curve so that you can able to do rest other parametric test, other test and all. So here it is called as kurtosis. Kurtosis also, this is very, it speaks about the pointiness of curve. Actually, your distribution should be like this bell-shaped curve. Curve should be say bell-shaped curve. So if it is more pointed towards the end, it speaks about the neck or point of the curve. It's called as leptokurtic, which is very tall, which is very pointy. So it's called as leptokurtic. Mesokurtic is also, which is not as expected as a normally distributed curve. Platykurtic is too much flat, which is very flat actually. So it's called as platykurtic. So these three are aberrations should not be there. So it should be properly distributed like this. You can take here. See, it's a normally distributed curve. So when this symmetricity is not there for the both the case, called as skewness. When pointiness is not there, it's not like say as mentioned as in normal distribution, then it is called as a kurtosis. So both skewness and kurtosis can be treated by giving some treatments to your data, transforming your data, not losing the statistical property. So that is the understanding with respect to skewness and kurtosis. Based on this, you may have parametric and non-parametric test. So parameter is different from parametric test. Parameter is a characteristic attribute for measuring your entire population. Okay. Parametric test is a test actually. This is completely different. So parametric test is a test. that warrants your data to be normally distributed. Your data to be normally distributed. Your data there should be some sort of homogeneity in your dispersion of data. So all these things are expected with respect to parametric test. Non-parametric is straight opposite to that, where it does not require you any data to be normally distributed. So any doubts till this? Any doubts?
No, madam.
Ma'am.
Okay. So right now I told variables and constant. You please respond to it. What is variable? What is constant?
Variable questions like the age, income, gender are the variables.
What
And
is variable? Don't confuse with that. What is variable? What is constant?
we describe
One
the
of the examples may
constructs.
be age, gender. Okay.
We describe the constructs through the variable.
So construct is the hidden one,
Yes,
where
ma'am.
we will be measuring
It is
through
latent.
variables. Correct. Correct. What is variable, gentlemen? Varying attribute, which has the varying tempo, which is called as variable. Constant is what? Which is very much concrete, which will not vary at all. So it is variable versus constant. What is population versus sample?
Population is a universal
Okay.
attribute, ma'am. Sample is a representation of a
Okay. Then relate parameter and statistics with this.
parameter. We
Population
measure
Population
the
is measured with
population through
parameter and
we
sample
measure the
is with
sample through
statistics.
statistics.
Okay, correct. So next topic is concept constructs variables. Concept is, for example, I'm studying about um, the addiction pattern of the individual with respect to usage of mobile phones. So my concept is what here? Addiction. Addiction, attitude of addiction is my concept. What is my say boundary? Boundary tells about your concept. So my concept, or if I'm studying about customer loyalty or customer disloyalty, that is my concept. So for that concept, I may have different constructs. I may have different constructs. See, here you forget about the title and all. So this is my, so what I'm trying to study here, how will you find what you are trying to study generally? Through any diagrammatic presentation. Here, this is the conceptual diagram.
That is the dependent variable.
Ma'am, social support we try to study, ma'am, and the stress and depressions are the variables.
No, we're studying
We are
depression.
studying about depression. So stress is one of the variable over there. Social support, it's actually a mediating factor there. It also plays a role in it.
Ma'am, how depression can be controlled through social support?
Construct is social
Stress can be
support.
managed.
Variable is stress and depression.
My question is what? My question is what you are going to study here. That's it.
Social support.
We're studying depression.
Studying about depression.
Depression, what we are going to study here is only study on depression using stress and social support. Okay. Okay. So how do I say that I'm going to study depression here? Someone said it is not social support. Why not social support? Why depression? How you people said that we are going to study depression here?
Pictorially, all the arrows go towards it.
I can't get you.
in the pictorial representation,
Okay.
all of this is impacting depression only.
சரி, ஓகே.
Ma'am, the output is depression there, no? So
எப்படி சொல்றீங்க அவுட்புட் டிப்ரெஷன்?
கடைசியில வந்திருக்கே மேம், because through all these root
சரி, இது
path.
கடைசியில வந்து அது டிப்ரெஷனா? நான் திருப்பி மாத்தி வைக்கிறேன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
root path.
What is your arrow? Vector. Your vector, where it is focusing. All these vector is focusing towards a dead point called as depression. கடைசியில வரதுனால அதுதான் சொல்லக்கூடாது. வெக்டார் எங்க போய் முடியுதோ, where your arrow ends, this here it ends. Correct? Everything is marching towards what? This depression. So we are going to study about depression. Generally, your title of the thesis is your dependent variable. Am I correct or what?
Yes, ma'am.
But the title of your paper is your title of your research paper or title of your thesis or title. What you are trying to say is always your dependent variable. What you are going to measure. So this is your dependent here. Depression is your dependent here. Stress is your independent here. Okay. Social support is generally here we can't say it is a mediator. Mediatorலாம் சொல்லக்கூடாதீங்க. இதைத்தான் நீங்க வந்து இந்த இடத்துல தான் இதை தான் நீங்க மீடியேட்டர்னு சொல்வீங்க. which passes into the reaction. This is outside the reaction. This is into the reaction. Which is into the reaction is mediator. Which is outside the reaction is your moderator. அதை நான் லேட்டரா சொல்றேன். I will explain that exactly. Okay, நான் இப்ப கேட்ட கொஸ்டின் வந்து கான்செப்ட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றதுக்காக இங்க வந்தேன். கான்செப்ட் இஸ் யுவர் டிப்ரெஷன் ஹியர். உங்களோட கான்செப்ட் என்னவோ அந்த பவுண்டரிக்குள்ள தான் தியரி எடுக்கணும். யூ ஹாவ் டு டேக் யுவர் தியரி ஆர் ஃபவுண்டேஷன் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் தி கான்செப்ட் டேக்கன் ஃபார் தி ஸ்டடி, வாட் எவர் மே பி ஃபார் தி பேப்பர் ஆர் ஃபார் தி தீசிஸ் ஆர் வாட் எவர் மே பி தி ரிசர்ச் ஒர்க் தட் யூ ஆர் டூயிங். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் யுவர் depression is your study here. So theory of depression using stress and social support, you have to take the you have to undergo the research on reviews. That is your concept. Concept is the boundary. What is your boundary? This is your boundary. You can't bring motivation here, leadership here. You can't bring personality here. You can't bring so many other variables here because we are not studying all those things. Here there is a boundary where you are studying everything should lead to depression. Maybe personality, maybe the factor, but if you want to take, you can take. But your major topic of study is your concept generally. Concept is that. Then construct. Construct is what? Stress is one. How many constructs are there here? 3. இதுக்கு பேர்னா கான்செப்சுவல் டயக்ராம்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஏன்னா பிகாஸ் இட் இஸ் ஸ்பீக்கிங் அபவுட் தி கான்செப்ட். இந்த மாதிரி எந்த டயக்ராம் எங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னாலும் அதுக்கு பேர் என்னது? கான்செப்சுவல் மாடல். This is called as conceptual model. This will not have any details about the items taken for the study. Items are exact questions that you are taken for your study. So இங்க இடத்துல வந்து 3 constructs are there. One is stress, social support, depression. Why? These constructs cannot be measured straightly. They are latent in nature. They are hidden in nature. You require some questions to measure this stress. You require some questions. You require some relative indicators to measure stress, to measure the social support. Now you differentiate constructs and variables. How you can differentiate constructs and variables? Now, are you clear with concept and constructs?
We can describe the constructs through the variables. No?
Very good. Very good, actually. What is the difference between factors and variables? Factors.
Factors are those which determine the variable.
Is it so? Wait a minute. This is actually your data set. Am I right? Later, I'll tell you how to have your SPSS and so forth. This is actually questions by nature. Question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, and so forth. When you take your data set, you may understand what is that exact questions from question 1 to question 4 to question 25. 25 questions I have posed here. After analysis, I may get some important emerging questions out of this 25, which is called as factors. Till then, what is this? 1 to 25 is your variable. Am I correct? 25 variables I post here. Out of 25 variables, I want to know which are all the important questions to the respondents as per their response. When you get that exact responses, where remaining others are meaningless for them, there may be few 7 or 8 questions may be very useful. That is called as factors. Factors is a emerged, useful, meaningful, emerged outcome of my random outcome of my variable, which is called as, which is the difference between factor and variable. Are you clear?
That is why there's something called factor analysis.
Yes, that's what we have. That factors are meaningful outcome, like variable and variate. I'm trying to say, out of variable you have variate, right? This is a response. Out of that response, there may be useful factor. Again, when you dig which are all the variate is important to us, useful questions that we are taking out of the list of basket of questions, which is called as factors. Factors are emerged, important, emerged, significant outcome of my variables.
So
are you clear?
For my leadership study, I have a list of 25 characters for a leader. So from there, they're saying there is a, we are confirming some of the factors. So 25 are all characteristics, but in that they're taking maybe 6 or 7. So that is factor analysis.
That is factors.
Okay.
They are factors. They are factors. Important, emerging, significant questions that may throw an exact result to your research objective are factors. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
so variable.
Ma'am Shiromi here. Is there any analysis where we can, or any method that we can use to identify these are my factors, like these questions are important? Do we have something like that?
Good. That is called as principal component. That is called as exploratory factor analysis. You are using, there are two types of factor analysis. One is exploratory factor analysis. Other one is confirmatory factor analysis. Exploratory factor analysis, it can be used for many objectives. They are used to reduce your number of questions, to take the important questions, objective number 1. And objective number 2 is to get the maximum variance as per the record. What is the response for the each and every questions? Based on the response, you can filter. Number 2. Number 3, based on these factors to take it to structured model, you can use that output. So in order to converge and find whether bias is not there, you can use factor analysis. Factor analysis you can use for validity check also. So there are different objectives for using factor analysis. Maybe your objective may be to filter the important factors out of that. So for that you can use exploratory factor analysis. Confirmatory factor analysis is to compare one with other. For example, I want to compare foreign bank with the Indian bank, how they perform, who's performing well. For doing multi-group analysis, I can use confirmatory factor analysis. So exploratory factor analysis to explore which are all the important factors by and large, and for confirmatory factor analysis maybe to compare which is important and which factors are important and how it is compared with other. So all these things you can do with the confirmatory factor analysis. So factor analysis is used to filter the factors.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next one is subjectivity. Subjectivity in your research. Generally, you should know this. Before that, you please tell me dependent variable, independent variable. You please. What is dependent? What is independent variable?
Independent variables don't change during the course of the research analysis, statistical analysis.
Who said? Who said?
Jayanti ma'am.
Who said?
எங்க
போய் இப்படி தப்பும் தவறுமா எதையாவது படிச்சுட்டு வந்து இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் வேரியபிள் டிபெண்டன்ட் வேரியபிள்லாம் எப்போ வேணால் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கலாம். அனாலிசிஸில் இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் தேர் இஸ் நோ ஹார்ட் ரூல் தட் வி ஷுட் ஹேவ் திஸ் ஒன்லி as your independent variable, this only as your dependent variable. It will be always interchangeable. மாறிட்டே இருக்கும். It will be changing according to your analysis. Based on your objective, your dependent and independent will vary. Are you following me? Are you understanding what I'm telling?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, demographic variables எல்லாம் independent.
ஆமா. இப்போதைக்கு வேரியபிள்னாலே வேரியிங்மா. நீங்க அப்படி போய் கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணிக்காதீங்க. வேரியபிள்லயே நிறைய வெரைட்டிஸ் இது. டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் வேரியபிள்ஸ் தான் கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன். வேரியபிள்ஸ்னா வேரியிங்னு அர்த்தம். அவ்வளவுதான். அதெல்லாம் குழப்பிக்காதீங்க. டிபெண்டன்ட்னா என்ன, இண்டிபெண்டன்ட்னா என்ன, இவ்வளவுதான் கேள்வி. Question is, what is dependent variable? What is independent variable? How do you say?
The previous example you gave, stress is an independent variable. Depression is a dependent variable.
எப்படி சொல்றீங்க? How do you say? Arrow markனு சொல்லக்கூடாது. Dependent variable is a variable is always is generally called as outcome variable. Outcome variable is measured through list of independent variables. So based on the changes given by the independent variables are not controlled by us, which is out of our hand. You cannot control employee behavior or customers preference. You can't control your customers. They are all they are totally, you can't able to control them. They are called as independent variables. Generally you can say they are very extraneous in nature, external variables where you can't able to control them. So they are perfectly independent variables. So based on their changes, you are trying to measure the depression. So stress and social factor is measured from the employees, that you can able to measure from them. Through their changes, you are measuring the depression. So depression here acting as the dependent, which is measured through the independent variable called as stress and social factor. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
For example, productivity or sales of the particular product is my independent variable because I'm going to measure that based on the advertisement what I've given, based on the customer preferences, based on so many things that I'm taking. So on those variables are my independent variable. Based on my independent variable, I'm going to measure the sales, which is my dependent variable. So what I'm trying to measure is always my dependent variable. Through what I'm going to measure is my independent variable. So dependent variable is measured through the variable called as independent variable. Are you clear? டிபெண்டன்ட்னாலே ஒருத்தர் டிபெண்ட் ஆயிருக்கும்னு அர்த்தம். யாரை டிபெண்ட் ஆயிருக்கு? லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் இண்டிபெண்டன்ட். அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி இண்டிபெண்டன்ட்னு வந்ததுன்னா தே ஆர் நாட் அண்டர் எனி கண்ட்ரோல். அவங்க இஷ்டத்துக்கு தான் அவங்க செய்வாங்க. ஸோ பேஸ்ட் ஆன் தேர் சேஞ்சஸ் they are acting as the stimulant. So they are stimulating the entire reaction. Based on that only you are measuring your dependent variable. Okay. There are two types of variable. One is major, you have to know about it, which is called as a mediating variable. Other one is moderating variable. Mediating variable, they are called as intervening variable. They will fall into the reaction. Say like here, moving search accuracy is the mediating variable or intervening variable because they are in between age and face looking. So it is in between these two. So they are called as mediator. This is called as mediator. Moving search accuracy is your mediator. Are you following me?
Yes, ma'am.
Other one is moderating variable, where the social support is a moderator, where it is not, it is neighborhood actually. This will react, but it is act as a catalyst, but it will not be into the reaction. It not be into the reaction or into the flow. So they are called as moderating variable. So moderating variable is generally called as interacting variable. Interacting variable. They may be in the interaction, but they will be outside. So who's more damaging? Who will give more reaction?
Inside is more damaging. Inside is more damaging.
Mediating variable than the moderator. Okay. Control variables. Generally, we'll take certain variables as control. Control variables are, for example, I want to study the new education policy. I may apply this new format or policy or template or proforma to a particular class, and other class I may not use that. The class where I'm not giving any new proforma is called as control group. The class where I've given the new policy, which is called as a test group. So that variable is called as control variable. This variable is called as test variable. So control variable is where you are not giving any sort of change. For certain reaction, when you take a good paper, refereed paper, emerald or any good paper, refereed paper, you can find certain variables as control variable. They may not give any sort of change in the reaction, but they may be kept as a constant, so that they will undergo they will test there are so many types of using this control variable: pre-testing, post-testing, mid-testing. So there are different sorts. So understand this. Control variable is a variable where you will not do any sort of change in that. You will keep it as the constant one. Well, other thing, you will do some change. Yes.
So in my paper, I have to specify that this is, for example, when I'm studying leadership, women versus men. Do they perceive leadership differently is also a question. But when I keep it as a control variable, I'm saying there is no difference between the gender and studying. Is that correct, ma'am?
Correct. You can use gender as the control variable there, and you can do some test, and you can take your preferences, and you can able to write your and you can even use structured equation modeling to check whether this age gender acting as the control variable there, or irrespective of the control variable, as say remove that and you try how is the change in the reaction. You can compare and you can tell.
Okay.
Extraneous variable. Extraneous variables are variables where they will be outside the reaction. They are called as generally say confounding variable. Confounding variable na, when you write your questionnaire or when you draw your model, other than this, if there are certain other construct that you left for depression measure பண்றதுக்கு இது ரெண்டும் மட்டும் தானான்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா நான் என்ன கேட்டா இல்லைம்மா, ஏகப்பட்டது இருக்கும். ஸோ அதை விட்டுட்டீங்கன்னா அதுக்கு பேர் என்னன்னா எக்ஸ்ட்ரேனியஸ் கன்ஃபவுண்டிங் வேரியபிள்னு பேர். ரெக்ரெஷனே வரமாட்டேங்குது, ஸ்கோர் இஸ் வெரி லெஸ், ஒய் மை ஸ்கோர் இஸ் நாட் ஒர்க்கிங் ஃபார் செம் அப்படின்னா ரீசன் இஸ் திஸ் ரீசன். யூ ஹவ் லெஃப்ட் சம் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் வேரியபிள் where that may act very, say, predominantly in your reaction. but you left that. So because of that, you may not get your result as expected as the original result. So that is called as confounding variable, confounding or left out variables. You may not consider that also. இதெல்லாம் எதனால வரும்னா, you have not consulted any expert. If you have not consulted any expert properly, or if you have not taken your questionnaire for pilot study, if you have not gone through literatures properly, first point தான். If you have not gone through literatures properly, recent papers, recent journals, இதெல்லாம் ஏன் பார்க்க சொல்றாங்கன்னா, you should not leave any confounding variables. முக்கியமான இப்போ இருக்கிற வேரியபிளை விட்டுட்டு ஓல்டாக எப்போ பேப்பரையோ 1970 எடுத்து வச்சுட்டு இப்போ உட்காந்து தீசிஸ் எழுதுறேன்னு பழைய மாடலை போட்டுட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா புதுசெல்லாம் போயிடும். புது கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் யூ வில் நாட் டேக். ஸோ தட் மே லீட் டு புவர் ரிசல்ட் வேர் யூ மே பி சப்ஜெக்டட் டு கிரிட்டிக்ஸ். ஸோ that is called as confounding variable. Confounding or extraneous variable is a negative sense. You should not have that for your study. Are you clear till this?
Ma'am, one question, Ma'am Shiva here.
Yes.
Can I keep extraneous variable purposefully? I know this is a variable. I mean, it may affect, but I'm not studying it. Can I keep it like that?
நீங்க அர்த்தமே புரிஞ்சுக்கல. நான் இப்ப என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கக்கூடாது. கன்ஃபவுண்டிங் வேரியபிள்னா எடுக்க விட்ட வேரியபிள்னு அர்த்தம். மறந்து போயோ இல்லை உங்களோட அஜாக்கிரதைனாலேயோ நீங்க படிக்காததுனாலேயோ இல்லை எக்ஸ்பர்ட்டையே பார்க்காததுனாலேயோ ஏதோ ஒரு தீசிஸ் வைக்கணும்ட்டு ஏதோ ஒரு டேட்டாவை வாங்கி ஒரு கொஸ்டினர் எடுத்து வச்சுட்டோம்னா, நிறைய முக்கியமான வேரியபிளை விட்டுட்டோம்னா ரிசல்ட் வராது. யூ வில் நாட் கெட் யுவர் ரிசல்ட். அதனால அவங்க என்ன பார்ப்பாங்கன்னா, when they go through your analysis, they will immediately catch you why your regression score is very less. Why? Because why do you use your inferential statistics? It is just giving you your evidence for your entire research. உங்க ரிசர்ச்க்கே எவிடன்ஸே ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்கல் பார்ட் தான். Because it is again reproving your theory. So why your value is low? Your theory is very much weak. Why your theory is weak? Because you are taking very old model. You are not using any new model, so that your results are not proving properly. So extraneous variables should not be there. Should not be there in your study, in your model. You should be updated. நான் சொல்ல வரேன். Extraneous or confounding variable இருக்கக்கூடாது. விட்டுட்டீங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். இதுல விட்டு உங்க வைவால கேக்குறாங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. Have you gone through any confounding variable? Yes sir. Yeah, have you why didn't you take that? I didn't take that sir. நான் உடனே பிடிச்சிருவாங்க. So you left something so which may be very much value added, so you left அப்படின்னு அப்படி கொண்டு போய் நிறுத்திடுவாங்க. So you should be very careful while you justify your result. Next, here objectivity, subjectivity. Objectivity is generally you will not go by your personal biased way. You will always go by neutrality, always go by theory, always go by principles. If you do that, which is called as objectivity in research. Subjectivity is your own personal impression, your own personal judgment, opinion, facts, all involved, which is called as subjectivity. But objectivity, subjectivity, both should be there for a research. நீங்க உடனே அப்ஜெக்டிவிட்டி தான் இருக்கணும், சப்ஜெக்டிவிட்டி இருக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. சப்ஜெக்டிவிட்டி இருந்தால் தான் சஜஷனே கொடுக்க முடியும். உங்க ரிசர்ச்சோட சஜஷன் எப்படி கொடுக்குறீங்க? நீங்க அந்த பொசிஷன்ல இருந்து யூ ஆர் டெல்லிங். ஸோ திஸ் ஆர் ஆல் தி அவுட்புட்ஸ் இட் இஸ் கம்மிங். These are all the strategies that it should be done so that to rectify the taken set of research problem, so that all the problems would get converted and can able to get resolved, can able to improve the scales of understanding with respect to the study. So இது எப்போ சொல்லுவீங்கன்னா சப்ஜெக்டிவிட்டி இருந்தால் தான். So objectivity, subjectivity to be maintained as it should be in proper equilibrium, then only we can able to speak, because it speaks about the research philosophy. So both should be there at proper ratio, correct ratio, appropriately. It should be in the equilibrium. Then only we can able to balance. Both are essential. Neutrally, you have to balance and take up the principles and can able to interpret. At the same time, your own implied thought, suggestions, ideas, that should also be given. So subjectivity and subjectivity both are warranted for your research philosophy. So are you clear till this?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
one
Are you
question,
through
ma'am.
with moderator, mediator, and all?
I have a small doubt. Yes, ma'am. This is Vinodini, ma'am.
Hmm.
I have a small doubt in control variable.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Ask, ma. Please ask the doubt. What is the doubt?
Understand how to define a control variable. Like how I understood confounding variable, I don't understand what is the control
What is
variable.
confounding variable, ma?
The variable which you will take for the research purpose
Correct.
is confounding one.
Okay. There should not be there. We should always go through recent updates and we have to see through recent reviews, experts' opinion, everything, and then only we have to come out with the model theory and model selection and final go through of your questionnaire. Okay. Control variable. Your question stands for the control variable.
Yes.
Control variable is a specific set of phenomenon where you may take 2 or 3 variables or items by keeping that as a constant, by not changing anything, and by seeing the reaction, rest of the reactions. This may be done prior to the reaction or post to the reaction. There are so many categories of doing applying this control variable concept into it. Why we are doing it is to find the reaction. For example, vaccinated group, non-vaccinated group. We have to compare. And there is a famous talk of Egde, who's a mastery of cardiology. He says this a stunt and other sort of that what we are doing with the heart surgery, open heart surgery. He says block is good for every human being. Every human being will have some minuscule blocks, but people will not understand this. People without block will die earlier when compared with people with block. Generally people will have block. That what he says. What he tries to say is people is generally having a myth. When they face any heart problem or heart pain, immediately they require a sort of surgery, or they have a thought there should be some sort of stunt making or sort of surgery should be there. So when he has analyzed 500, his master, his professor has also did this, and he explained. It is also good example for control variable. Patients of 500 have been taken into account. All those 500 patients, they have problem with heart. They have faced a minor heart attack. So 250 has taken to a operation theater. Other 250 also taken to another operation theater B. So operation theater A, operation theater B. Operation theater A, originally they have undergone operation and they kept this stent. Operation theater B is placebo effect. They have taken to that, they have given all sort of the procedures for operations, but they didn't undergo any sort of operation at all. But they
Autoimmune,
created,
ma'am.
yes, what happened?
Autoimmune.
Please follow my class later. So operation theater B has a sort of placebo effect. They didn't do anything. So this operation theater B, Vinita, is considered as control variable. Are you clear?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. So they want to find out the difference between their health factor with respect to cardio dimensions, with respect to patients admitted in operation theater B against operation theater, I'm sorry, operation theater A against operation theater B, where operation theater B, you are controlled, they are controlled group. This controlled group is otherwise called as a control variable, where which is control variable there, operation is a control variable, where we didn't give operation at all. But the patient is having a thought, say, it's a placebo effect, that they have a thought, say, they have done undergone operation. So both are, when compared with operation theater B, a surprising result. Operation theater A, operation theater B lived hale and healthy. Lived hale and healthy when compared with this patients subjected to operation in operation theater A. So what he tries to say is everything lies with the psychology of the individual. Psychologically, if they are happy, they are healthy, brain itself will treat entire body. That what he is trying to say to us. But what we are trying to say here as a control variable explaining here to you is operation theater B, those who are not subjected, we are keeping that as a constant there. But we are checking the efficacy of operated and non-operated. Are you clear, Vinita, now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You can understand this control variable once you go with that particular experiment. In social science, it's very rare. You may use a sort of yoga, pre-yoga, post-yoga, not doing yoga, against yoga. So likewise, you can able to compare all with the medical records, and you can able to write the thesis based on using control variables. And even you can use different, based on your research topic, you can apply your control variable concept there. Are you clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, Shirome here.
Yes.
Can the controlled variable be applied for a training module, ma'am?
Yes.
For
Yes.
students giving interview skills, like
Definitely,
I train.
definitely.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Can apply, not apply, can compare. And there are 5 types in control variable application also. Pre, post, mid, pre, post, after effect, past. So you have to see through it in what pattern you are going to use it and how you are going to use it.
Okay.
So based on that, should have a logic of using that.
Yeah,
Then you can use it. Okay.
Ma'am,
But
I
you
have
should know what is what. That's
one more doubt, ma'am. That constant and construct is there, ma'am. What's the difference between the constant and construct?
Constant, concept, construct,
Yeah,
variables.
the other one
Concept
variable
is the
versus.
boundary, ma.
Yeah, okay.
The constant and variable will come here, which is dynamic in nature is generally variable, which is very static, which is constant.
Okay.
Okay, that is different. That is of different department.
Okay.
Here, concept constructs variables we are taking for understanding purpose, because when you go with any public viva, say they are asking some questions irrelevant to your topic, then you should go to your flow. What is your concept? What is your construct? What is your variable? Concept is your macro set, construct is your subset of the concept, and variables are the subset of your constructs. Are you clear?
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am, doubt, ma'am, Jayanti, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
in case of a model, should we definitely have both mediating and moderating variable, or one of
Not
them
required, not required. Even both are not required. All depends upon your theory.
Okay, ma'am.
Theory. There is no hard and fast rule that should be there, that should be there. Nothing like that. So we should have all the basics there. A human being should be a human being. Whether he is with the white or black skin is not required. We have to worry about whether all organs are perfect there. So all constructs are perfect there. Variables are with logic. Whether it falls with the theory, everything. If theory doesn't say about mediator, moderator, fine. Theory says about that, you have to. Or you can try and check hypothetically. If works, okay. If not works, okay. So it depends upon your data and your model, your theory. Okay. All starts with your theory. Be strong with your concept and theory. Concept is the major idea of your study. Theory is the fundamentals of taking that concept. Okay. That should be clear while you go for your any research. Any research.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. When you speak about any proper premier school, they will ask what is your theory. They will dig left and right with your theory. Should be strong with your theory part. With which I'm closing today's class. Have any further any doubts? You can ask me. Or shall we close?
Ma'am, what is exponential distribution?
Exponential distribution is generally your growth curve. It speaks about your growth curve. When your end of your curve goes to infinity, generally it will have this growth curve. You are worried about, you are in your social science study, you are much worried on normal distribution. Okay, So here we are worried about normal distribution. When you go with logistic regression, another case and all, you will be having that sort of distribution. If warranted, you can go by that. Generally, this growth curve is when your tail goes to infinity. For example, if it is immeasurable, it keep on improving, multiplying, going, which is generally having this exponential sort of distribution. There are so many distributions. For example, I gave this in order to differentiate normal with others. I just gave 3 more in order to compare. That's it. Logic of having that is to compare. That's all. But our hero is normal distribution, normally distributed curve. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Doubt, man. The factor analysis, can you give some example? Just I'm having confusion with
factor analysis லாம் தனியா நடத்துவேன் நான். சும்மா ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் சொன்னேன். ஃபேக்டர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து என்னன்னா, இப்போ ஒரு 15 20 கேள்வி கேட்டிருக்கீங்கன்னா, இந்த கேள்வி தான் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் அப்படிங்கிறது வேணும் இல்லையா? நிறைய கேட்டு வச்சிருப்பீங்க. லிட்ரேச்சர்ல இருந்து பார்த்து ஏகப்பட்ட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கேட்டிருப்பீங்க. ஆனா இப்ப இருக்கிற கரண்ட் சிச்சுவேஷனுக்கு, கரண்ட் டாபிக், இந்த எடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற டாபிக்கு 8 கேள்வி தான் இம்பார்ட்டண்டா இருக்கும். மிச்சதெல்லாம் டம்மி. ஸோ அந்த 8 கேள்வி தான் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட்டுங்கிறது தான் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ். இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் இமர்ஜிங் attribute, emerging questions out of taken list of questions. எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கிற கொஸ்டின்ல இதுதான் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் இமேஜ் ஆகி வருது இல்லையா? அது எப்படி வருது? உங்க கிடைக்கிற ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் வச்சு தானே அதை அனாலிசிஸ் பண்றீங்க.
ஓகே,
அதுக்கு பேர் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ்னு பேர்.
ஓகே, thank you.
Okay. Shall I log off?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for the wonderful class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.